got a good one today. Yes. Let me see if I have a photo I can put in. Yes. Evidence, evidence. Come ye, come ye. Yes. Welcome, welcome. That's right. We're going to get right to it. How are you guys? Welcome. Yes. Hey, Robert Penn, I see you. Yes. Yes, guys. Thank you for joining. I'm not going to do a whole long opening because we have an incredible show today with amazing guests. Yes, that is Demetrius Burns and Alicia Richardson. Right? Am I saying that right? Pam, correct me if I'm wrong, in the photo that I have put up here. And I believe the the photographer is David Torrance. Am I getting that right? Am I remembering that right? So welcome, guys. Thank you for being here. It is Friday, June 3rd, and I am super excited to have my guest today. It is actually their first time doing IG Live. So, we had a little practice session last night. We're going to see how it goes. I'm so excited. So this is a photo from the piece Come Ye by Ronald K Brown that we are going to be talking about today. It's the 20th anniversary of this amazing work. And yeah, we're going to find out more about the work and what it means today, what it has meant through the years, and all of the above. So before I bring in my illustrious guests, first of all, how are you guys feeling? I hope you're doing well out in the world, out in these streets. Ronald K Brown's work has been described as, exploring idioms from across the African diaspora, mixing Cuban, Caribbean, West African, and contemporary American dance forms, and joyously blending complex rhythms and a deep spirituality. Yes. Artistic director Ronald K Brown, raised in Brooklyn, founded Evidence, a dance company, in 1985. He has since worked with Mary Anthony Dance Theater, Jennifer Muller The Works, as well as other choreographers and artists. He has set works on Alvin, Ailey American Dance Theater, Ailey II, Cleo Parker Robinson Dance Ensemble, Dayton Contemporary Dance Company, Philadanco, Ballet Hispa, and Malpaso Dance Company, among many, many others. He has collaborated with such artists as composers Jason Moran, Arturo O'Farrill, Meshell Ndegeocello, yes, Oliver Lake, and Wunmi. He's received many awards and recognitions, including the 2020 Jacobs Pillow Dance Award and the AUDELCO Award for his choreography in Regina Taylor's award-winning play Crowns. He's received a Guggenheim Memorial Fellowship, National Endowment for the Arts Choreographers Fellowship, New York Foundation for the Arts Fellowship, a Bessie Award, Dance Magazine Award, and the Ailey Apex Award. And that's just a few. Okay. Ron, as we love to call him, Brother Ron, is also the co-artistic director of RestorationART Youth Arts Academy Pre-Professional Training Program, Restoration Dance Youth Ensemble, and a member of Stage Directors and Choreographers Society. That's just a small part of his bio, guys, but please, the website for the company is in my link tree in my bio, so please go there and visit to learn everything. Now we have Arcell Cabuag is the Associate Artistic Director and Senior Dancer of Ronald K Brown Evidence Dance Company. He is a recipient of the 2004 New York Dance and Performance Awards, the Bessies, for his performance at the Joyce Theater in New York City. Originally from the Bay Area of California, he moved to New York in 1996 and attended the Alvin Ailey American Dance Center, where he was first introduced to Ronald K Brown. Arcell serves the dance community as an adjunct professor at Long Island University, Brooklyn, as a resident teacher at the Dance Wave Dance Program in Brooklyn, and as a masterclass instructor for Evidence, a dance company for all ages and levels throughout the U.S. He has assisted Ron in setting work on the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, Philadanco, Cleo Parker, Ballet Hispa, and various universities. He also has been touring nationally and internationally with Evidence since 1997. Dance Arcell! And finally, our filmmaker, whose work you will see if you've seen Come Ye, or will see is coming up soon this year as they celebrate, is a filmmaker that collaborated with Ron on this work. And Robert E Penn, also my guest, is a New York-based writer-producer who is currently developing an animated television series, African Wonder, which shows the story of a child in a remote African village who must master traditional magic while dealing with an invasion of technological enchantment. New York State Council on the Arts awarded Robert a 2006 Individual Artist Grant in Film and Video, New Media Technologies, and he is the author of the Gay Men's Wellness Guide, published by Henry Holt and Company, 1998. His video projection design for the dance Come Ye by Ron continues to gratify audiences since the premiere. His information is also in my link tree. So without further ado, because we only have a little bit of time with my guests, let me bring them in and we'll let me make sure my screen is turned up and we'll see how it goes. So this is my only second time doing multiple guests for my chat. So let me go find them and invite them in. Yes, I'm so glad you guys are here. So first, let me try to get in. Let's see how that goes. Let's go, people. Yes. Oh, actually, let me get out of the screen so I can. Here we go. Okay, let's try that again. Yes. Oh, Robert, did we lose you?
Oh, I set it to focus on the other way. Anyway, here I am. Sorry about that.
Okay, so that worked. Let's go and find Arcell and Ron. This is so exciting because I have not done too many of these, or one before, where I had multiple guests in the screen. I'm super excited. Yay! This is so awesome. Thank you all for being here. I'm so excited. And thank you again for our testing session last night. And, that was wonderful. I'm glad we made that happen. So again, welcome to dannIGeeLive. And just, how are you feeling and where are you calling in from?
We just made it to Boston.
Oh, you just got to Boston?
Yes, like 10 minutes ago. We just checked in the hotel.
Oh my God. So you made it just in time. And Robert, where are you?
That's perfect. I'm in New York. I'm in my place in Manhattan.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. So once again, we are here to talk about Come Ye, and congratulations again on this incredible anniversary of this amazing piece. I was just watching it again, and so luckily, the company, we have some questions, and guys, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. I'll try to get to them, but again, we have so much we can talk about. So this work premiered exactly 20 years ago. Was it in 2002?
Yes.
2002. And, per your notes, it's inspired by Nina Simone, the music of Nina Simone and Fela Kuti, and their socio-political artistry. The work itself summons warriors, angels, and activists dedicated to the pursuit of liberation and peace amidst the struggles of human conflict. Come Ye is a call to all those living in fear and all those willing to fight for their lives and ultimately for peace. And here we are in this moment, and we're living through it still, but I had to go back to 2002 for myself, just to see what was happening in the world, because 20 years ago, but what obviously the first thing that popped out to me was we were all reeling from the events of 9/11.
Yes.
We were going to war, with
Right.
Afghanistan that lasted 20 years. And also, interestingly enough, Nina Simone, whose music, features heavily in your work, that year, 2002, the Ku Klux Klan member, Bobby Cherry, was convicted for the Birmingham bombing that killed the 4 little Black girls who had just finished, we know the story of the Bible class. And that bombing led to Nina Simone writing Mississippi Goddamn. And she said she wrote the song in an hour, saying first you get depressed and after that you get mad. And when these kids got bombed, I just sat and I wrote this song. But she's also famously quoted as saying, you can't help it. An artist's duty, as far as I'm concerned, is to reflect the times. So that's a lot, right? Reflecting the times. So 2002 for you, Ron, with this work, what were you feeling? What were you looking to express?
So I just talked to the company about this yesterday. So Evidence was traveling a lot the year before, so 2001. The U.S. had just gone into Afghanistan. And we were at the airport and the lines of young people in uniform playing with Game Boys. And I was like, oh my goodness, these young people are going to fight for us. How do I feel about that? They're fighting for us, but they are about to fight people. They're going to be rewarded for killing them. I was cleaning my apartment and I was trying to figure out how I felt about it. And Nina Simone came on, Come Ye, and I was like, I know I had a Nina Simone piece in me, but I already made High Life, so I thought it'll come at some point. And then when she said, those are who are dedicated to fight for your life, it's time to learn how to pray. And I was like, okay, that's how I feel. Is old. So what happened to people believe that war, the destination is still peace. What
Right.
happens when is old? How are we here again? Then I think Joyce in the company, she said, it's history. I said, yeah, and it's history again. So we're at war again. But still, it's the same situation.
Same
So
situation.
people are like, oh, is it new? No, it's not new. That's the sad, that's the truth of the matter. It was
Yeah.
the same situation that we've been in.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Arcell, for you traveling at that time, because now you're in the company 5 years at this point, right? And so, you know, and seeing, you know, Ron's way of working, and always, I feel like there's so much symbolism in the work. There's so much thought and spirituality in the work, you know, learning the work for you, you know, being Filipino, but, you know, born here in America though, but what came out for you in this work, learning it way back then?
Yeah, it was interesting. So I'm raised Catholic, so I grew up with this fear of death, a Catholic child. But when we would go to the airport, I remember that day, long line, but it was just this long line of these young people, army fatigue, and they looked like teenagers to us. I remember that we were on like, they really like, they don't really on the front line. They're the people for us, and you know, even still confused about what was happening in the war. Just wanting to, knowing that in the work that we do, being in evidence, so much about spirituality and peace and community and coming together and taking. And so I think when we were and Ron was talking about going to create this piece, and then we went into rehearsal studio, and he talked about that moment, and he started to play the music, and we just started following him around. He just told us, like, when we saw kids in the airport, you guys, so I found this song when I was cleaning my house. Just follow me around, and like the way Ron choreographs, he just starts dancing, and we follow him. We try to catch whatever we can. And, by the end of the day, I just remember we were looking at each other like, "Whoa, really heavy." And then Ron, okay, so let's talk about it. And we all got to just share, like, how is this making us feel? What can we do in support of people? Why are we there? You know, pray. What else?
Yeah, it's funny you should say, what can we do? Because that's actually on my notes. That's one of the last questions I had. Like, you know, we'll get there, but are we doing enough? Is art enough? And before I get to you, Robert, I do want to say, like, even just watching it over again today, even just on the simplicity of the costumes and talking us through the sections, you know, the first costume is, you know, the white T-shirts and the like looks like denim. It's kind of industrial, like the workers, and then the fatigued. And that's the Come song. And then the next section, there's like a change, and it's like people are at a gathering, they're hugging, you know, just watching all that coming together. The third section, you know, into the fourth section with the Fela, and of course, as a lot of people know, you use, you know, Fela's music a lot, you know, your work, and it's brilliant. And so, Coffin for Head of State. Coffin for Head of State. And so now that takes me to Robert. You know, you spoke earlier, you emailed me earlier saying the lyrics of Kamyi is what sort of guided the imagery that you assigned to the film towards the end of the work. Can you speak to that?
Well, yeah. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Yes, I went through the lyrics again today, and I saw the same line that Ron just mentioned earlier. It's time to learn how to pray. Mm-hmm. But before that, it's come ye who would have peace.
Yes.
So for me, it's about peace and efforts for peaceful change and civil rights. Nina Simone was actively involved in the civil rights movement and political change. Fela Kuti was a total engine for change in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. And of course, with Pan-Africanism, these struggles are parallel one to another. Mm-hmm. Colonialism, neocolonialism, inhabitation, war, invasion. I don't want to go on too far, but you know, there's intersectionality. So that and I think because Ron used musical inspiration from at least those two continents, Africa and North America, but really more, in my opinion, it was easy to find commonality in struggle on at least those two continents, North America and Africa. So the finale for me is inspired by Ron's movement choice of the marching, the struggle, the continuing to go forward.
Absolutely.
And so I sought out imagery to match up, to sync up with that.
And then there is also that motif where the dancers, are standing a lot like this. And I think about that famous poster, even of Fela, where he's in concert and he's just like, ramping the audience and just like, the fight, the struggle. Even, there's this image of Muhammad Ali in there,
And Bob Marley too.
And
Marley. That clip of Bob Marley, he's doing a similar movement of I feel like it was a statement of frustration and ecstasy at the same time. It's happiness, it's joy from his music, but also struggle.
Absolutely. And it's beautiful. I mean, even watching it, trying to isolate it in my mind, watching it alone, it stands alone as a film itself. I mean, that's the beauty of what you do. And so, Ron or Arcell, can you tell me if you all knew each other prior to this collaboration, or how did this collaboration come together?
Robert and I have known for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yep. Since the early 90s, at least, we met through Craig G. Harris. And I think when Ron and Craig you were collaborating at Dance Space or something like that. I think that's where it started. And then then Ron asked me to start documenting their performances around 98, 99. So we had an ongoing relationship. I attended a lot of rehearsals. And so, the groundwork was laid for us to work together. I don't know, you want me to tell the next part of the story, Ron, or you want to tell it, or Arcell?
You go.
So I was minding my own business, working, and Ron gives me a call and says, I think this new dance, of which I had seen a rehearsal, I think I want to have a film in it at the end. And so I was like very much intrigued and interested, because I love editing footage, and I was doing a lot of editing, using a lot of found footage from that period of time, public domain footage. So no problem with rights for for performance. And so I said, okay, Ron, bring me some images that you would like to see. Ron and I met. I think Ron brought 3 or 4 images. I remember one of the guy with the eyes, just the eyes. That was one of the images Ron brought. And the sort of ceremonial photos of people descending like terraces in a mountain. And there was another of a priest, maybe, washing someone's feet. So those really gave a tone, right? Of like, people are watching you, and also the spiritual message that most of Ron's work conveys to an audience.
Absolutely.
So I went from there. That's how it started, and it was a quick turnaround.
I bet. And I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself, but now we're, the country feels more divided than ever. And I feel like, the things that we're seeing, maybe they always were there, but it's just because we have such access to technology, right? We're just seeing it now. Like all this racism, like, it's not like it all just kind of crept up on us and got worse. It's just that we're just seeing it more. And so with the images that you have now, would you want to revisit them if you could and swap them out, or add, some current activists, artivists, as we call them, or leave it because they are potent and powerful and still resonate with all of us today?
Well, that really depends upon, I saw it recently for the first time in a number of years when the company was at the Joyce in March. And I was fortunate enough to sit in the very first row so that I had a specific angle on the film. And I was stunned. I had kind of forgotten the intensity of the work. But if I were to, if the company were to ask me to do something with it now, it really would depend upon whether or not we wanted to update it, or if Ron wanted to find another expression that is more reflective of now.
Right.
Right. Because this piece for me was very much rooted in the struggle of Nina Simone's time.
Right. Yeah.
And so that meant for me the civil rights era in the United States of America.
Right.
And so that guided the selection of the images that I put in into the little story. The 3-minute story is some people are demonstrating, doing a sit-in, which young people may not know about, but there used to be segregated lunch counters in the South.
Woolworth's moment.
And yeah, and students, usually college students, would go and sit in. We couldn't eat. People who look like us could not eat there, but they couldn't keep people from sitting there.
Right.
So people would just sit there.
Yeah.
Our young sisters and brothers of the time would sit there, and then were asked to leave, intimidated to leave, go into the paddy wagon, and then come out from that. So it's kind of telling that cycle of like, well, we're pushing it as much as we can, right? And next time, maybe it'll get pushed a little bit more.
And what do you think, Ron? Is that something that you're toying with in your mind, especially where we are now, like a companion piece to Kanye, or just going from where we are now?
I think the power is in the conversation. The time talking about the fact that we are still dealing with these. Starting the conversation 20 years ago, now we could talk about it. Oh no, we don't even have to update it because we have new images that we can look up separate. They have nothing to do with Kanye, but yes, Kanye for Kanye, yes, for them. We don't need to add them. We have them already in our brain.
That's right. Yeah. So that takes me to my next question of, with the younger dancers in the company. I mean, you said, you talk to them, you sit them down, you sort of, like I think about, of course, like with Alvin and Ailey, some of these younger dancers may not know what, it is to be in an old dusty church, but you're giving the information to them, like you got to sit down in that chair, you're in the hot sun and you're baking. So imparting to them this sort of like history and legacy as you have younger, newer dancers in the company, I know that's important to you, as it should be. And it looks to me, every time I've seen the company, like they get it. They get it. So is there like, before you even start dancing, there's a lot of conversation, as you just said, there's talking about the work and what it means. And do you suggest they go and see certain things or read certain things? Is that part of your process?
I try and bring them as much as I can and just call them over. It's story time, come over here. And in the middle of rehearsal, I'll bring Arcell. We just keep trying to get them to the story. So why what are you saying with this movement?
I think what's been on tour with places like Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, where as a company we would go to see the actual Woolworth, or go to the church that you were talking about, where the Lorient Hotel where Martin Luther King was assassinated. Being in those actual cities, going to these actual things, and then also seeing it in the photographs behind us. To me, I think trips is really helpful. But just like Ron said, I think a lot of it that we're explaining to the dancers is how to be real people and let the warrior of these ancestors and all of these revolutionaries come inside of our body. How do we put on their energy? How do we put on their clothes? Like the clothes, kind of like basic, like young people, like I almost feel like a Gap look with the white t-shirts and then the denim pants. But then when we put on the rest of the tops, we almost should feel like these revolutionary superheroes in all these different clothes, not necessarily a Black Panther. There are these revolutionary superheroes coming back down through us as real people, and how do we convey the story about the revolution and how we pray for these people?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Keep learning.
And what I mean, as poignant as it is today, I always like to uplift, our up and coming brothers and sisters of all, races and creeds that are coming up, really speaking out and being out there in these streets. And like Robert, for you, who's inspiring you right now? Who are you looking at to say, yeah, this is that generation, this is that person that's really saying something?
Oh, that's unprepared. Well,
That's okay.
I will say that, my first inspiration these days is Dr. Shante Paradigm Smalls, whose book, Hip Hop Heresies, is coming out this month. They are taking a look at the intersectionality and the way for them, for all of us really, gender, sex, sexual identity, sexual orientation, and race impact all of us in our lives. I'm attracted to that very much. And then, of course, I mourn the losses of our new martyrs who have died at the hand of white supremacists. I'm so glad that anybody who says white supremacy and means it, doesn't say, oh yeah, white supremacy, that was something that Hitler did. Anybody who says white supremacy with the full knowledge that that's a practice that's prevalent in the United States of America today, that person's a hero for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ron and Arcell, who are some of the, the up and comers, or just even in your own, contemporaries that you're really championing and looking to inspire you?
I think Usman Wiles, Amari Wiles, is doing some incredible work. We've known him for over 16 years, and incredible traditional dancer. He does some contemporary work, and he has his own company, Afrique Vogue, and he's just taking some chances and doing some brilliant work.
You're saying Omar Wiles, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, legendary. He's fabulous. He's actually on my summer stage season. I'm so excited.
He's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, someone just wrote, Pam Green just heard incredible talk by Mark Bamuthi Joseph. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Yeah, and even the recent, the artists of, Kehinde Wiley, and obviously our girl Camille, what she's doing with, the recent restaging of for Color Girls, is to me, it was just brilliant. And she comes out of, your family. And for you, Arcell, what about for you?
Yeah, right away I just started about, we direct a teenage program called the Restoration Dance Youth Ensemble at the Youth Arts Academy, just giving them a shout out over there at Restoration Bed-Stuy. But we work with a lot of teenagers, 13 to 18, and I'm so inspired every time we are in the room with them. It reminds us about what we do, what we have to do,
why we do it,
and why we do it. They come in there ready to work, just think that way they before us, not being controlled about trying to be perfect, but they are still out with energy and their love for dance, and it's really inspiring to experience being in the studio.
And brilliant, we have 2 seniors. Janelle got accepted to 10 universities. You only got accepted to 24.
Oh, wow. That's great. The restoration kids, they're doing it. And I even think in the community, our brother Jamel Gaines with all his youth creative outlet, and it's all about these babies. It's all about keeping these children, empowered, letting them know and believe that, yes, they can do anything and should not have any hindrances to success. And a lot of times it is economic success. So, going back to my, because things are still so poignant with this work, this might not be answered in 5 minutes, but can art still manifest change? I think of the music of obviously Nina and Marvin Gaye back in those days, and it really got us revved up and doing things. Can we still make that happen where we are today?
Let's not forget Curtis Mayfield.
Of course. Come on. Say the names, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Robert, what do you think? Do you think, people are listening? Do you think there's music out there and art and dance that can really motivate people to step up?
Yeah, I think a lot of artists, Meshell Ndegeocello is doing good work. And there's a guy I want to speak about video, and I can't remember the artist's name, but he did a huge installation last year that was all about anti-blackness. Does anyone remember his name? It was Uptown. It was this roiling ocean. I posted on my Insta.
Oh gosh,
back
yes.
then.
He was
This roiling
the
blackness.
Greg Tates. Oh, what's his name? I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. And that moved a lot of people whom I know who saw it. I never thought of them as being as interested in change as I had been. So yeah, I do think that art can still affect change. I think performing arts really affects change, perhaps more than the so-called fine arts, as if performing arts is not a fine art. Yeah. And I hear this, there's a lot on Broadway right now that is opening people's minds. The play that was on Broadway last summer called Pass Over, a young woman, African-American woman from LA. It was incredible. If you ever had a chance, there is a movie. Spike Lee did a movie version of an earlier production of the play, starring John Michael. What's John Michael's last name? It's available on Netflix. So look up Passover, and you can see it. Yeah. Sorry,
but also
Spike Lee.
Yeah, the show Strange Loop, I believe it's called.
Strange Loop. Strange Loop. I'm hearing amazing things about it. I haven't seen it yet. Yes, but that's intersectionality, from what I understand. It's, black gay characters are at the center of it. So for me, it's very, very important that gay people, LGBTQAI people, are seen in the center and are seen as BIPOC, as Black, Indigenous, and people of color.
Yeah.
Because when I was working in HIV prevention, it was like trying to convince people that, this affects people of color too. Maybe at the same time. And now to see more of that coming into popular culture is heartwarming, even though it's heartwarming in the way that at least this is increasing awareness, and maybe with greater awareness there can be more change for what I would, more inclusiveness, more understanding and respect of the different communities. Nobody has to change. And ideally, I would like the end of brutal assimilation.
Come on now.
I can't claim ownership. I didn't coin the phrase. I heard it on Progressive News the other day.
Okay.
And it was with respect to something that Deb Haaland. Okay, now that's somebody who's changing something. Deb Haaland, the Secretary of Interior, first Indigenous American to be at a level position, just issued a report about the so-called schools for Indigenous populations that was run by the Department of the Interior. They weren't schools. They were barracks.
Right. Yeah.
So that being brought to the foreground, and apparently it's just the first tranche of more to be revealed, then that opens the door for greater understanding and appreciation, and hopefully, dare I say, reparations to other communities that were equally brutally assimilated. Cut your hair, forget your language. Don't talk to your mama, your grandmama, grandfather, great-grandfather. Don't talk to your spirit. Talk to our spirit.
Right.
So you got me started.
No, it's okay. But speaking of spirit, there's a lot to chew on with that. But even going back to the work and just all of your work, Ron. I finally, blessedly, had the opportunity to dance, your movement on stage last summer. And so, again, going back to where we are now, we're still in it. We're still in the thick of, white supremacy and inequality and all this blah, 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 DEI stuff. You know, there's a lot for you to chew on as a creator, you know, and I mean, what do you you're on tour now, you're in Boston, you have a show tomorrow night. I won't Pam was like, please do not forget to mention the show tomorrow night at the Majestic Theater, 8 o'clock in Boston, and bringing Kamyi across the country on tour, Jacob's Pillow later this summer, The Yard. What do you hope people will take from it now in this place we're in now?
So someone asked me, how do I stay optimistic?
Mm.
I said, it's faith, believing that love always wins. But faith, because I would not be here if people were fighters, knew that faith and love always wins.
Yes.
So I just hope when people see, I tell the dancers what we're doing in Boston tomorrow, Kamyi, and then Mercy, music by Meshell Ndegeocello, and then the new Quality of Night and Day, music by Jason Moran, and speaking Angela Davis.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't wake up from hearing those stories, I don't know what.
Right. Well, speaking of stories, I got a little party going on outside my window right now, so forgive me, guys, if you can hear all that. But let me just actually go to the chat and see if there are any questions. No, just, someone's saying love to Robert Penn. Yes, awesome. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, we have about, 8 or 9 more minutes with these gentlemen. Please put them in the chat. And so speaking of the performance tomorrow, I don't want to mispronounce the supporter's name. Is it Moore Aronson? Am I saying that proper? Maury Aronson, and a longtime supporter of your work. And so the performance is at Global Arts Live, and this is, according to my notes, the 6th appearance in Boston under Maury's presentation. Terrific supporter of Black dance. Global Arts Live is also a co-commissioner of the Equality of Night and Day. And then you're at the Pillow, June 29th to July 3rd, and at the Yard. So all of this, guys, if you're just joining us, is in my link tree, in my bio, the link to Evidence's website, as well as your Vimeo page, Robert. I was speaking at that earlier today as well, and a link to tomorrow's show. And so, going back to the lyrics of Kamyi, ye who would have peace, hear me what I say now. I say, Kamyi, ye who would have peace, it's time to learn how to pray. And, again, going back to this idea of optimism, and I feel like just us as a people, indigenous people, BIPOC people, we have for centuries come through some things. It's in our DNA. It's in our DNA to push through and survive, and what do you think that is in our DNA that allows us to continue to survive and thrive and find joy in the everyday? I'll start with you, Robert.
I'm on the spot there. I was just considering, man, it's I think the perseverance of Africans in the Americas is an amazing thing. And when I consider how I wake up in the morning and make decisions about with whom I will confront during the day, because it's necessary to conserve energy. I used to just go at it all the time, and whoever came about, right. I was gonna. But now it's like I conserve energy, and I believe that's what my parents did, and what their parents and parents before them. I can't imagine the strength that my grandmother, who was born in 1872,
God bless.
And took in wash to earn money to help supplement my granddaddy's coal mining income, right? And I can't imagine that. And yet I know that we're still going through similar, sometimes more subtle, sometimes just as blatant, but sweetened, gaslighting, all of that. It's an interesting, I believe it's the ancestors myself. You know, that's my belief system, that these spirits are present with me. That's what I try to evoke with this 3-minute film, that even at those most difficult times when young people were being escorted in nice clothing, by the way, everybody was in, people didn't sit in jeans back then. People sat
I noticed
in
that in your
suits and
footage. The
ties.
women that, the women that were coming out of the paddy wagon, they were dressed and pressed.
Yes, dressed. And they still needed the presence of, without, in my opinion, without the presence of the ancestor spirits there, that would not have been possible.
Absolutely.
That's where the strength comes from.
Yes. And you, Arcell, where do you find your moments of joy? How do you work it out through the day?
Just like perseverance. My parents are both immigrated here in the United States, so me and my sister are the first American generation of Filipino family, and I just perseverance. Think of, you know, any culture of so many people that have been colonized. Like, how did these people do that? How did they still maintain, stay on the land, or immigrate somewhere else? It's just the perseverance, and I think a trait very Filipino. Just people are very happy to be alive, feeling grateful to just be alive on this planet. And I think, like, people say, why are people so happy? You go to the Philippines, people could be dirt poor, living out of a box, but they're so happy they want to give. I think it's part of that humility, but grateful to be alive.
Yes. And obviously you, Ron, just said, you know, leading with love. And I was looking at an interview that you did. I forget the writer's name at this moment, but you were saying that you hope. Oh, you were talking about talking to your nephew and looking at his fearlessness, and that you hope that youthful fearlessness and joy express itself in your work. And I feel like it does. Like, when I see your company, from years now I've been watching your company, and they always seem like they're flying through the air. It looks effortless the way it comes. Even having seen you dance many years ago, I think Joel Lane was on there earlier. I hope he's still here. But just, you know, that signature back attitude, sort of jump thing you have, you know, I mean, it's just incredible. Like, you really have established and created your own lane that I think for years to come we will still be enjoying and just being mesmerized by that. And
I hope so.
with love and joy and fearlessness. I think it's hard. It's a little hard these days to somewhat be a little fearless, because there's so much fear right now on the streets. But as much as you can live with joy and courage, I think is a gift. It's a real gift.
Maybe a month ago I read something that said, fear is a reaction, courage is a choice.
Ooh, say that again.
Fear is a reaction, courage is a choice.
Yes.
So, stand up, brave and courageous.
That's right. Right. So we have 2 more minutes left. I promised Pam this will only go 45 minutes, but someone wrote a question, I think it was about the film and the collaboration. Just a quick go back to that and see what it was. Oh, hey, Monique Martin. Yes, y'all know Monique Martin.
Yeah, hey, Monique.
Can you talk about collaborating with filmmakers from ideation to create hybrid work that is live and digital?
So I try and find a collaborator that I trust that can just say, this is my idea, and step back and see what happens. So once I think there should be a film of revolutionaries. Then Robert, we exchanged this stuff, and then I said, okay, where should it start in the piece? So he gave all that stuff, and I said, okay, now let me see where it should be. That the audience is fighting, they can see that in the dance at the same time. But one thing about the film that's so powerful, we would do it for a children's show sometimes, And then this guy here from Brooklyn would say, okay, now I just want to show the. So I was like, you're traumatizing the kids.
Listen. They see worse on these streets. Okay, they need to know what's going on in this world. Yeah, right. Traumatizing the babies. Listen, their daily lives.
Right.
You know? But I think, like we were saying, some of the images and some of the leaders in these films, like Marcus Garvey and Malcolm and Nina, of course, shows up in the film, and
Paul Robeson.
Yeah, these are our powerful leaders that, we are still inspired by and motivated by to this day. We can't let them go. We can't let them go.
Ida B. Wells. We're still learning more and more about Ida B. Wells. And one of the biggest challenges I had when making the film was finding more images of women leaders. I know of them. I couldn't find moving images of them.
Interesting.
And believable, considering how selective people who made films in the early part of the 20th century were. But I was glad to find.
Absolutely. So we're already at time. I'm so blessed and honored that we were able to make this happen. And I just, any final thoughts I'll go across. Just again, I'm always hoping that young people watch these talks and just, I don't know, a few words of inspiration and encouragement for our young people. Robert, I'll start with you.
Well, find your passion and stick with it. That's what I got to say.
And Arcell?
Yeah, just before we go, I just wanted to give a shout out to Wunmi again for the costumes, Pam, who helped.
Oh, yes.
I always think it's important to give credit to the original cast. These are the music that are in the room Ron is choreographing the work on. And so the original cast have come, Deidre Dawkins, Camille Brown, Shawnee Collins, Bridget Moore, Stu Lane, who was out here, Keon, Lewis, Otis, Donovan Herring, and Ron Brown, and myself. The original. I want to give a shout out, but see some superb dancing this weekend with our new company.
Could you do me a favor when you have a chance? Could you send me those original company names?
Yes, I will.
I can make sure to give honor to them. That would be awesome. Yes, Julie and Camille. The two of you. Baby Arcell in 2002. What? I've seen you grow up in the company, Arcell. Because I was way beyond Ailey at that point. So it's been amazing watching you as well grow into your, leadership. And I'll finish with you, Ron. Just words of encouragement for our kids, our babies out here.
So one of the things I live by, I say this a lot: work for the sake of the work for the sake of the work, not for the sake of the goal. And then the blessings will come. Don't chase the goal, chase the work. Fall in love with it.
Yes.
Then
it's the journey. Sorry.
Journey.
It's the journey, not the destination.
That's right. Well, I love you guys. Robert, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. I'm sure this will not be the last time our paths cross. To Ron and Arcell, please be safe out there up in Boston and the rest of the tour. I'm sure we'll cross paths at some point this summer somewhere here in New York. And if not Jacob's Pillow, I'm thinking about taking a little road trip up to Jacob's Pillow. Maybe I'll get my girl Monique to come with me. See you guys.
If I can't miss a ride, let me know.
Okay, cool. Hey, road trip. Okay. So again, yes, thank you to Pam for helping to bring this all together. And Shaylin with your company for helping on the media side, social media side, and some of the questions. And so, yes, I will let you guys go because I want to do one plug for my girl, Chloe O. Davis, before I close out the entire chat. So do you guys know how to get out of the chat?
Yes.
So there's little X's on top of your screens that you can just
stop sharing.
Okay, cool. So
okay,
thank you
bye.
guys. I love you. See you soon. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
See you
you,
soon.
Ron. Love you guys. All right. Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was everything. Oh, that was everything. I adore those brothers so much, Ron and Arcell. And now, getting to know Robert Penn. And please, if you're in Boston tomorrow night, do yourselves a favor, do your spirits a favor, and go to the Majestic Theater and see Evidence, a Dance Company, 8 p.m. tomorrow night. The link to the show is in my bio. The link to the company's website is in my bio, so you can follow where they'll be all summer long and beyond, where they'll be performing Come Ye 20th anniversary celebration of this seminal work. It's a beautiful work. And also Robert Penn's Vimeo page, where you can see more examples of his incredible work as well. And so, yes, I just want to give a shout out to Chloe O. Davis, because it is Pride, okay? Happy Pride, kids. And so I always love to, this is her book, The Queen's English. So, get your lingo together, kids. And it's just, what does it say? It's the LGBTQIA plus dictionary of lingo and colloquial phrases, and includes history, identity, and pride. So the link to this book is in my bio as well. It's by Chloe O. Davis, amazing dancer. She's actually on Broadway right now in Paradise Alley, right? Am I saying that right? Monique, you would know. Paradise Alley on Broadway. I think it's called Paradise Alley. Anyway, she's on Broadway. But, dance with Camille Brown and others. I believe she did some time at Philadanco as well. And so, yes, if you missed any portion of today's episode, I will hopefully be able to archive it right after I click out, and also on my YouTube channel, dannIG TV. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So more to come. Summer Stage starts this weekend with a Bowery show, a ticketed event. But our free season starts next Saturday, June 11th, with Herbie, the great legendary Herbie Hancock. He's joined by Keon Harold and my girl on tap, doing a special solo moment, Asha Dahomey Griffiths. Summerstage.org. And I don't know, what else can I tell you? That's it. This is also the last weekend, by the way, guys, for Color Girls on Broadway. So if you haven't seen it, get a ticket and go see it. Support Camille Brown and the amazing cast. So thank you all for watching. Thanks again to Ron, Arcell, and Robert, to Pam, to the dancers, to the company, and all of you guys for watching. I love you. Take care of yourselves and stay safe in these streets. Okay. Take care.